Hi guys. Alright, so tonight we're gonna start on our candy yams and turnip greens and the actual ham itself. Right now, we're starting with the candy yams. I've already boiled my sweet potatoes. I used 5 large sweet potatoes and I'm getting ready to peel the skin. I got that trick from Philly Boy J. You boil them first and it makes the peeling process a whole lot easier. Alright, so with that, you'll need a cup of light corn syrup, a tablespoon of ground cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, and a cup of brown sugar. Oh, and a cup of butter. So I have 2 sticks of butter there. But I'm going to go ahead and peel this last sweet potato and show you guys just how easy it is to do that. So right now, just run the knife under it. I have my little garbage bag there, and basically you just slide it on off.
Wow, that is easy.
I know, right?
We used to fight with those.
All the time. This is hot too, but yeah. And then you just peel it on over on the side, and the butt part. You boil them so that they're like fork tender, but not all the way, because you are still gonna bake them. But there you go.
Wow.
All right. So now what we're gonna do, I have my pan here, and I need to preheat the oven to 350, please.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna cut the. Actually, before I start cutting them, let's go ahead and start on the candy sauce. So on medium heat, I'm going to melt my cup of butter. I should have had that seat out, but oh well. Alright, so while that's melting, I'll go ahead and start cutting up the potatoes. Since they are partially done, I want them to still have some texture to them. So I'm not gonna cut them super small. So let's start here.
So you're just gonna cut them in blocks?
Yeah, probably about like a good 1/2 inch maybe. Alright guys, so we're back. I got all of the sweet potatoes in there. The butter is melted, so right now I'm just going to go ahead and start adding the ingredients. So that's a cup of brown sugar. And that's melting.
Ooh, see that heat? Yeah.
Alright. So brown sugar's in.
Brown sugar. That's my second career.
No, what? Actually, I'm just gonna pour it in there.
Just gonna pour that in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So now I'm gonna do, let's do the syrup. Alright, so this is a,
So no particular order, we just
no,
pour
just
it
go
on
in there.
Gotcha.
It's a cup of light corn syrup. Some people use normal white sugar. I don't see why, since you're gonna actually use brown sugar too. But hey, again, I think it all boils down to how you saw your grandmother or parents or whoever do it. And go from there.
Do you remember the first time you tasted some candy yams?
Do I remember the first time?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
Do you?
I have no clue.
Did you have them before I started making them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
They didn't taste like, I didn't taste no sugar. They actually taste salty at some point.
Salty?
Yeah. Big Mama, she...
Yeah. And you put salt in it because salt enhances the flavors of stuff. But now if it was salty, then she probably added too much salt to it.
Yeah. Big Mama, yeah, she...
And I normally don't measure stuff, but I tried to measure it out for you guys so that you can have, you know, some kind of idea of what it is. But as you see, it's gonna thicken up, but I want it to come to a slow simmer, not so much as a boil, since we're still gonna bake it anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
Alright, so this was the 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. If you like more cinnamon, add more cinnamon. I wouldn't add more nutmeg because nutmeg is a lot more, it's stronger.
Ooh, that cinnamon's strong too.
Yeah, it is. But some people like more cinnamon. So again, it's on you. It's darkening up some with the cinnamon in it. Alright, so to that again, this is 1 teaspoon of nutmeg.
Nutmeg?
Yes.
Okay. I just knew I was going to jack that up.
And here we are, 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
So that's everything.
So for somebody not measuring anything, that was a lot of measuring cups.
I mean,
just had to throw that in there. Okay.
I tried to get it. I mean, I might be off, but that's about it.
Yeah, I just had to look over here and like, we're not measuring.
Hey.
Okay, who am I to judge? Okay.
Alright, so we're going to let that just simmer so that all the lumps and bumps and all that comes out. But I can see it's thickening up good. And that's what's going to go over there. So, turn the stove off. And now, we just pour everything over on top. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go do that. And so it's covering everything good. And got that in the bottom. 1 second. Alright, so I'm not going to do too much stirring because again I don't want it to break up the potatoes. But everything is covered, so I really don't need to stir anything. So we'll put this in the oven for about 30 minutes. And then at that point we'll give it a good stir to make sure everything is good and coated. And then we'll probably cook it in another 15 minutes because you still want to make sure that the potatoes get done. And then you'll be done. Alright guys, we'll be back. So our candy yams are still in the oven. I've started the water to boil the ham hocks for the turnip greens. You can't see it, but I just seasoned the water with seasoned salt, black pepper, and salt. Well, just a little bit of salt. And some onion flakes because I forgot to cut up the onions to put in there. But anyway, I have like 3 small size ham hocks. I only got about 4 bunches of turnip greens. But I don't know yet if I'm gonna do 2 or just cook the whole 4. But that's what's going on over there. So I'm gonna boil that for probably about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes until they start to get done. Alright, so right here we have our ham. So I got another technique from Philly Boy J to actually slice the ham so so that we can all of the stuff that we get or put in it can actually seep down into it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Well, I rinsed the ham off with water, rinse it off real good before I put it in there. So you always want to make sure you clean your meat. So before we start it, I'm gonna slice it about good 1/4 inch cuts. Alright, like I said, that's just so that the flavor and everything, we're gonna inject them later, but that way the flavor and stuff can get down up in there. So I don't cut myself. Alright. We're gonna take some Dijon mustard, or if you have regular mustard, which is fine, you can use that. We're just gonna coat it real good. Not really, there's no how much or anything like that. You just want to make sure you coat it really good. And my hands are clean, so I'm just gonna massage all that mustard in there. Alright, so that's good. Oh, and you want to make sure that your ham is thawed out completely. If it's frozen, I've been sitting in the fridge since Friday, so it's good and thawed. But if it's frozen, then you want to make sure that it's at least room temperature and thawed out, because you don't want to mess with a frozen ham. Oops. Alright, so next we're going to start our actual seasoning. I'm going to season it with pepper. I'm going to do black pepper, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, and ground cloves, and our brown sugar. This is about 1/4 of a cup. You're not trying to like overpower it, so I would say about a teaspoon, half teaspoon if that, of each of these. So, ground cinnamon, and this is gonna, you know, make your pineapple and honey glaze. That's basically what we're doing.
Honey glazed ham.
With pineapples and cherries. Can't forget those. Alright. So we got our ground cinnamon. I mean, that ground ginger, sorry. And your cloves. I think when I was younger, I remember my mom had the whole cloves on it. I was trying to figure out what the heck all that was, but I mean, whatever it was good. So, anywho, yeah, like I said, it's probably about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of all of those.
Does that give it like a color or something?
It actually gives it a flavor. Can you start to smell it? That's like that.
Smoke.
Something like that. Don't ask me, I don't know. I just know that's what she put in.
Alright.
Alright, so next we're gonna take our brown sugar and just pack it on. Just pack it in there. You see how that mustard got all the seasonings to kind of like stick to it? And if it falls to the bottom, that's fine. Hell, all of it's gonna end up down there anyway. But You want to just pack it in. Alright. Making this. Alright, so that's that. We got our brown sugar, our mustard, our black pepper, our cloves, cinnamon, what is ground ginger, and black pepper. All of that just sitting in there. So now we're gonna let it rest. Leave it alone, just rest it on the counter for about an hour. Depending on how big your ham is, ours isn't very big, so an hour will be fine at that point. So after it's rested and all that seasoning and everything just marinated in it, we'll be back.